Hello everyone, and once again welcome back to the Chem School. Organic reaction mechanism can be broadly classified into two types. That is, whether the bond is going to break symmetrically, then you can say it is homolytic bond fission. If the bond is going to break unsymmetrically, then you can say it is heterolytic bond fission. Now, what are this term we are going to see in detail in today's lecture. So let's get started. So let's talk about the first type of bond fission, and that is homolytic bond fission. Whenever you talk about homolytic bond fission, remember that the word homo here means equal and lytic or lysis means breaking or losing. Okay, so what we are going to do here, we are going to break the bond equally, right? But which type of bond are we going to break? So that's the first question that you should ask yourself. We are talking about organic chemistry, and in organic chemistry we should know that the bonds are formed by equal sharing of electrons, and whenever the bond is formed by equal sharing of electron, we say that this is covalent bond. Okay, so this has to be very clear. Okay, so what we are going to do in homolytic bond fission is we are going to break the bond symmetrically, right? Which bond? Covalent bond. So we are going to break the covalent bond symmetrically. Okay, so assume that we have a molecule XY and the bond between them is a covalent bond. So when you break the bond, right, this bond is formed by equal sharing of electron, right? So when you break the bond, what will happen? X will take away its electron while Y will take away its electron, right? So the bond pair is now distributed equally, correct? Now, it means X will have its own electron, which you can say as X dot. Similarly, Y will have its own electron, that is Y dot, right? And this species that you have obtained is called as free radicals. I repeat, in organic chemistry, we call them as free radicals, and free radicals are reaction intermediate, and this reaction intermediates are highly reactive. All the reaction intermediates are highly reactive. Okay, so one type of reaction intermediate is free radical. This has to be very clear. Now, you have seen that while breaking this bond, I have used a special type of arrow, and this type of arrow is called as a fish hook arrow. They are curled arrows, right? Plus, notice that they are half arrows. Okay, so whenever you are talking about homolytic bond fission, you will always draw this half arrows, which has to be a curled arrow, which is called as fish hook arrow. Why? Because see, when you say this one, an arrow which is of this type, right? Whenever you use this type of arrow, it means it is complete shift of 2 electrons. Okay, from wherever the bond is breaking, 2 electrons will start moving from that particular side. But if I draw only half arrow, it means only 1 electron is going to move from that particular site. Okay, so that is what has happened over here. When this bond is breaking, this bond has 2 electrons, right? When this bond is breaking, 1 electron, can you see? Half of the electrons, half of the total shared electrons is moving to X. So from 2, 1 electron will move to X, and from 2, 1 electron will move to Y. That is the reason we are using this half arrow. Okay, so again, one quick revision. Homolytic fission is equal breaking of bond or equal sharing of electrons when the bond is getting broken. The arrow that you're going to use is going to be a fish hook arrow, and the species that you're going to get is going to be a free radical. So now let's take few examples and do homolytic fission of that. Okay, so the first one is Br2, bromine. Okay, so bromine, if you have UV light, okay, bombarded on bromine, then the bond will start breaking. Now, how will the bond break? We said that it is going in presence of light. You can see all of them. This is UV light, sunlight, or UV light. All of them means the same. Why? Because a similar amount of energy will be used to break this type of bonds. Okay. Now, when energy is supplied, the bond is going to break. How the bond will break? Symmetrical, we said fish hook arrow. So this bromine will take 1 electron from this bond pair. Similarly, this bromine will take 1 electron. Okay, because it is a symmetrical molecule, you can simply write 2Br radical. You can draw the dot anywhere you want. That is not a problem. Okay, similarly, have a look at the next one. This molecule is not symmetrical. Okay, so first myth that you should remember, that homolytic fission is not always for symmetrical molecules. The molecule can be unsymmetrical. Okay, and at this time the bond which is more polar will break. Okay, that is what you need to remember. I repeat, the bond which is more polar or the weakest bond will always break. Okay, so have a look at this one. In this case, if you can see, this is all sigma bond, but over here, in this case, you will have this sigma while the other bond will be pi. So one of this bond is pi, and we know that pi bond is a weak bond. So whenever you have sunlight bombarded on alkenes or alkynes, at that time pi bond will break. Okay, so break the pi bond. In this case, this carbon will take one electron and the other carbon will take one electron. So how will the molecule look like? Okay, so now you will have CH3 CH CH2, right? This carbon has taken one electron, so draw the free radical on this carbon and draw the other free radical on the terminal carbon. Is this clear? So in the same molecule you have both the radicals. Okay, so this is very, very important when you talk about polymer chemistry. So you can see many examples of this type in polymer chemistry. Next, again, you can see that this molecule is not symmetrical, but there is a bond which is more polar, and we said that the polar bond will usually break first. Why? In this case, chlorine will pull away the electron towards itself, so the electron was already more towards chlorine, so this bond is more easy to break. So whenever you have the source of light like UV light, the bond will break such that carbon will take one electron and chlorine will take the other electron, and what you get is CH3 CH2, that is ethyl free radical, and Cl dot, that is chloride free radical. So I hope this is very clear how to do homolytic bond fission, right? Let's understand what is heterolytic bond fission. So as homo means equal, hetero means unequal. Okay, so homolytic is equal breaking of bond. Similarly, heterolytic will be unequal breaking of bond. And which bond we said? It is going to be covalent bond. So when you have unsymmetrical breaking of covalent bond, then you will say it is heterolytic bond fission. Okay, so as an example, let's assume that we have a molecule XY like earlier, and they have a covalent bond between them. Now if this bond breaks, what will happen? One of them will take the entire pair of electron, right? So the bond pair that is present in here, that is between X and Y, one of them will take the entire bond pair. Okay, so this gives rise to ions. So what happens? The arrow will be, or it will look like, let's say Y takes the complete electron. Can you note the arrow? It is a complete arrow. It is not half arrow or fishhook arrow. Okay, so we are using a complete arrow. So it means if Y is taking the complete electron from this pair, right, then it will gain a negative charge. So you have an anion, right? And similarly, X is losing its electron, right? The shared electrons, X is losing its electron, and therefore you will get a plus charge on X, which is X cation, right? Let's talk about the other way around. What if X is going to take away the electron, right? If X will take away the complete electron, then X will get a negative charge while Y is going to get a positive charge. Again, in this case, you are getting a highly reactive reaction intermediate, which is called as ions, that is cations or anions. Right? So I repeat, in heterolytic fission, it is going to be unsymmetrical breaking of bond. The arrow that you are going to use is going to be a complete arrow, right? And the bond pair of electron will shift to either of the atoms, not towards both of them. One will lose the electron having a positive charge, one will gain the complete electron having a negative charge. Okay, right? Next thing, who will take away the negative charge? Usually the group which is going to be a good living group. Okay, the group that is going to be a good living group, that will hold the negative charge. Now what are good living groups? We will take a separate lecture on that. Okay, as of now you can just remember the one which is more electronegative will take away the negative charge. Okay, I repeat, the one out of both of them, the one which is more electronegative will take away the negative charge. So let's say in this case, because X is taking the electron, so X has to be more electronegative than Y. Okay, similarly in the upper case, if Y is more electronegative than X, then the negative charge will go to Y. So this is the main thing that you should remember as of now for heterolytic bond fission. Now let's do heterolytic bond fission of this particular molecules. Okay, have a look at the first one. We said, just remember, the more electronegative atom will take the negative charge, right? So in this case, you can see you have C and Cl, and we know that Cl is more electronegative, right? So just give the negative charge to chlorine. That's it. Okay, so what you will get over here is you will get this tertiary butyl carbocation, and you will have this Cl minus, that is chloride anion. This was very simple, but have a look at the next one. In aqueous medium, if you take ethanol, right, now the question is which bond will break, CO bond or OH bond. So the thing is, the bond which is more polar will break, right? So have a look at the electronegativity. We know that the electronegativity of carbon is 2.5, right? Of oxygen is now 3.5 and hydrogen is 2.1. So just take the difference. the CO bond difference in electronegativity will be of 1, 3.5 minus 2.5, right? And the difference here is going to be of 1.4. So which bond is more polar? This bond is more polar, and therefore this bond will break. And definitely the one which is more electronegative will bear the negative charge. So now this is sorted. So now we know that this one will take the electron. Similarly, as in this case, Cl has taken away the electron, right? So what you get is, you will get CH3, CH2O minus, and this is called as ethoxide anion, okay? So you get an ethoxide anion and you get a proton, that is H plus, right? Similarly, in this case, this is carboxylic acid. Acid will give you H plus in aqueous medium. So just take that, right? So you will get RCOO minus and you will get H plus. And this is going to be reversible, because in organic chemistry, whenever you have acid, they are going to be weak acids, and for weak acids you will have reversible arrows. So let's talk about some important pointers from homolytic or heterolytic bond fission. So the first one is radical reactions. In organic chemistry, you will see very few radical reactions. Why? Because they are rare. And where are they observed? Usually they are observed in gas phase reaction, or when the solvent is non-polar for organic reactions. Okay. The next thing, we know that the bond is going to break, and covalent bond, when they break, they will give you ions of free radicals, thus giving rise to two types of organic mechanisms, that is ionic reaction mechanism, or it is going to be free radical reaction mechanism. The last one, how are the new bonds formed? The new bonds are formed by reversal of these processes, okay, and that will definitely depend upon the stability of these intermediates, that is the radicals or the cations or anions. Here I have taken very simple examples. So when bromide radical approach each other, you will get bromine gas. Okay, that is the reason in a radical reaction you have a lot of side products. Okay, in this case, whenever you have an ion attacking any cation, you will get a new compound, right, which is neutral. Fine. So that was all for the day. See you soon in the next class.